I've yet to see someone that doesn't like this game. Look at that. Look at how beautiful it is. We're gonna make this ring, dissolving ring in Unreal Engine. So if you make a material, call it dissolving ring. First, it's gonna be a surface, translucent surface, and it's not gonna be lit. I know, right? 2017, not lit. So to make the ring, we need a couple of circles, one bigger and one smaller, and we need to subtract the smaller one from the bigger one. So to make that, we need a radial gradient exponential, a couple of those. So we need a radius, and that's going to be a scalar parameter. Plug that into radius. And copy that for the smaller circle. So and subtract these. So the top one's going to be the big one, bottom one's going to be small one. So this is going to be outer radius, and set it to something like 0.45, and this is going to be inner radius. You can set it to something like 0.43. Needs to be smaller, right? And we also need a density, so another scalar parameter, plug it into the density of both exponentials, and set it to something like 50. Now this thing is going to give us a circle, and you can tweak these to control the thickness of your circle, ring. Now what we need here to get that nice dissolving effect, you can see it starts off quite solid and then it starts dissolving. So if I turn down the speed on this, check this out. Here we got the ring. Starts off pretty solid, boom, and then it starts dissolving right away. So if you multiply that ring with a noise texture, right? Let's get some noise. Look at that noise. It's quite big, but it doesn't matter. If you multiply it right away, you're gonna get some blemishes on your ring, right? You're gonna get more blemishes than that, right? You can see we have like some dissolve in the beginning here, but you need it to start pretty solid. See, that looks pretty solid to me. Right? To do that, we can do a really nice trick, and we can thank Tommy for that. There we go, Tommy. And he helped me figure this out. So what we need to do here is make sure that once, if this thing is in a particle, the higher the alpha is, the more solid the circle is, and the lower the alpha of the particle is, the more dissolved this thing looks. So this is gonna happen if we use particle. So we're gonna put this in a particle later down the line, but you can just add particle color right now. Get the alpha, that's the alpha here. So that thing, we're gonna use that to drive a little number here. So if I drag this into a lerp, linear interpolate, right? And it needs to be plugged into alpha. So if you control click that and plug it into alpha, what it's gonna do is gonna scrub between those two values, A and B. So, and these are gonna be -1 and 1, and we're gonna use them, we're gonna add them to the noise. And then use saturate, and then that's gonna clamp those values between 0 and 1. And all that is, remember, all that it's giving us a solid edge, like a solid ring at first, and then once the alpha goes down, it's gonna start dissolving. That's all it does. So, and you might have noticed that this noise is quite zoomed out. So in order to fix that, we can change the scale of it to something smaller. So smaller is gonna give you bigger spots of noise, right? See, I reduced that, and you can now see the individual cells of noise. So this is gonna give you your dissolved texture. So if you want something more aggressive, you can change the type of noise. If you want something softer, you can change the type of noise. That thing needs to be multiplied with the ring. So if I drag the ring out, go multiply, and plug it into opacity. And if I Stick the emissive color in as well. Oh, there we go. There's the ring. Right. So here's our ring. In order to see what this lerp does, all you can do to debug it before you have a particle system is you can get something that's called a debug time sign. Plug that into the alpha, and it's just going to go between 0 and 1. And there we go. We have a nice dissolve thing. And you can, in order to get different textures, you can just tweak the parameters of the noise. So get rid of that time sign. We know it works. Stick back the particle alpha in it. And now, if you want to make your thing glow, you can just multiply the particle color to a number, I don't know, like 400 or something. That's going to be the strength of the glow. Now that thing is already usable for a particle. So let's go, particle system. Make a particle system, call that ring particle or something, right? So first off, you're going to notice that this thing is looping, spawning a bunch of particles, and we're not going to need that. We're just going to need one to burst and then end. Burst and then end, right? So in order to do that, we need to go into the required, first set our material, and then let's look at, okay, that's a lot of rings there. A lot of rings, right? So now that we have our material set, we can go to spawn, set those constants, the rate constants, set them to 0. Just click that yellow thing, reset. Let's go reset that to 0. So both the rate and the distribution are going to be 0. Now you're not going to see anything because there's nothing getting spawned, right? But see that burst thing over here? If you click the plus on the burst list, add one thing, count 1, there we go, boom. One particle, all we need. We have velocity, so I don't know if you want your ring to move, but I want mine to stay still. So in the initial velocity, I'm gonna reset those things to 0 as well. So now, there we go. Now we have a nice dissolving ring as the alpha goes down. And you're gonna notice that the Zelda thing has it's increasing in size as time goes by, so we can do the same thing, right? We can right click and add size by life. And that thing is gonna increase or decrease the size with the lifetime of the particle. So what we want is a uniformly increasing size, not just like one axis. So a really easy way to do that, you can lock the axes of the size. You just go life multiplier distribution, locked axes, go XYZ, right? Got that? And see if you double click that thing over here, that little curvy line, that's gonna give you, over here in the curve editor, that's gonna give you a curve. So if you fit it horizontally, you can get these 2 points. That's the beginning of the lifetime, and that's the end. So the Zelda one increases in size with its lifetime, so we can just increase the end of that. And nothing's happening because this number is really small. So if I right click on this thing, set value, go to something like 1.5, and you can see that now it's increasing. Boom. Okay, we got something going. And I think that's pretty cool. But the thing is that that's looping and it's not stopping. We're not seeing completer or anything here. So in order to, if you want this thing to trigger only once, in the required tab in duration, there's this thing emitter loop. So if you set that to 1, we're gonna see one loop and then boom, it's completed. That's it. Boom. And it starts off nice and snappy because we used the burst, starts off right at the beginning. So if we put that into the level, we should be getting something that looks nice. There we go. Yeah, there we go. We got that ring.